Well, of course, again, Perry, you're talking quarterbacks, and that's that's the most fun thing for fans and everybody to talk. That's the man of the hour, of course. And hey, I mean, it's for good reason. If and I've said this many times on the show in the preseason, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. I mean, that's how. And especially now, I feel like football is so like quarterback focused. You've truly got to have that guy at all levels. But Luke Doty obviously named QB1 after spring ball, which I'll be honest, I was a little surprised. I thought maybe they'd let the thing drag out a bit, but on the other side, I do see why it's good to name a leader and have somebody the guys can rally around and look towards. But you were at the spring game. I'll ask you a broad overview first, then we'll lock in on Luke Doty. Just what you saw from the quarterback position overall, because again, there's as much, and I know we all feel good about Luke, but there's as much uncertainty about that position as there is of any, just because, Luke Doty's only played in 3 games or so. Jason Brown's brand new. Connor Jordan, Colton Gauthier. I mean, it feels like it's a brand new quarterback room. I mean, just from what you saw overall from the guys, things you like to see improve, just from all 4 of the guys competing for the job.
Yeah, I think with Luke, let's start with him. I mean, he's going to be the starting quarterback game 1.
Yeah.
Works hard, great attitude, throws a good ball. People talk about his arm strength. He's young. He'll get there, right?
And that's, I'm sure you've seen my posts about that. And that's, to me, that's like the worst narrative surrounding Luke Doty, is that he can't throw the football. And I mean, is he the most elite passer on the roster? I'm not saying that, but, and I mean, again, I'm kind of getting ahead of, I guess, the points I wanted to get to, but I feel like in talking about personnel and what our strengths are going to be and what we're going to want to do offensively, I feel like there's probably not a guy, with no disrespect to anybody else, there's not a guy that fits it better than the skill set Luke Doty brings. Again, you don't need to be, let's call it for what it is. We don't have 5 Alshon Jeffries on the outside. Like, we're going to have to be a bit creative and keep defenses on their toes and make a defense account for the 11th guy. I think at a school like, and really just in college football in general, but you look at schools like Alabama and Clemson and some others where they've recruited 5-star talent across the board at offensive line, running back, wide receiver. They're good enough to play 10 on 11 football. And it's like, we just know our guy's going to win the matchup. He's just better than you.
Mm-hmm.
At most other schools, probably 95%. Like I said, you got to get a bit creative and you got to make defenses account for the quarterback, and even for the elites too. I mean, Ohio State, and you got to have that quarterback that when the play breaks down.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people, and I mean, again, as we get farther in the preseason, I'm going to talk about the offensive line, 4 or 5 starters returning over 100 starts. You feel good about them. And I feel like they're catching a lot of the heat for last year for those gaudy sack numbers, which they're bad. But when you don't have a quarterback that can get out of the pocket and can extend a play, and the defensive coordinator and the D-line all know that, you're just not giving yourself much of a chance.
It's tough. You're fighting a fight with,
especially when you get behind the sticks, which we did a lot last year.
Yeah, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot from the jump.
Right.
So, and if you have a quarterback that can't move, you got to be really, really good about protecting them. And like you said, it's just not feasible in today's game. You've got to be able to
defenses are too athletic. They just
in this conference, the front 4 are way too athletic for you to stand back there and be a statue.
Even you could run a little bit, a
tiny bit.
You gotta be able everybody gives the Texas A&M game. Everybody brings up the 60-yard rush.
You got to be able to move, right? And it's not so much about straight speed. It's just being somewhat elusive. I mean, there are very few times that I ever remember being in a pocket and getting crushed. Right now, whether I got sacked or not, that's a different story. But you got to be able to move, and I think with Luke, he brings that ability, that escapability to the pocket that we're gonna need.
4.40. I mean,
we don't have that elite receiver to shoot.
Yeah,
here comes the ball. Right, we got to make a play, and with the arm strength thing. Guys, and everybody listening, this dude is a rising sophomore.
Yeah.
He is 19. Relax.
Didn't even play quarterback the whole year last year. So
he's 19. Relax. Give him another full summer. Yeah. I guarantee you his arm strength will be better in the fall than it was in the spring. I will bet my bottom dollar on it because he's still maturing and growing. He's 19 years old. And then for you to base this upcoming fall based off of what you saw in 3 games and for what he was thrown into an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the worst situation of all time, of one of the worst of all time I've ever seen a young quarterback be put into. I mean, a team, literally half the team did not want to play. Even they had games left on the schedule and they were like, nah,
I mean, I think they traveled like 45 to Kentucky or something like that. Something
no,
crazy.
I'm not talking about the guys that left for the draft, like kids that were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, and then we're going to base those games that he played and try to project that when he was a true freshman. Come on, guys. We can't be doing that. You got give him, I will say this, since he's had all offseason as QB1, give him 6 games. Now, if he can't figure it out after 6, then we may need to go in a different direction. But they as the coaches should not put him in that situation to struggle. They shouldn't put him in a 35 pass a game. Like, you got to win us the ball game kind of a situation. Yeah. And defense has got to help too. I mean, that's the funny thing before our next point, that I actually, quarterbacks get judged off of wins and losses, but it's ridiculous that they do if you think about it, right? Look at guys like Dan Marino. Dude was an unfreaking best quarterbacks of all time. Yeah. And never won a Super Bowl. Well, if you don't have a good defense, I don't give a dang how good you are on offense. Right? If you don't have people to block for you, I mean, there are a lot of good quarterbacks that never won any games or did anything of any super significance. You got to have you're ultimately a point guard. Even if you're a dual threat guy, you are a point guard. If you don't have a guy that can shoot the ball right or make a play, it's going to be tough.
For sure.